Hey, what up? So, I'm fucking exhausted. I just had my last exam. But I promise I'll get this video out in 12 hours. So that's what I'm going to do. I look like shit, but it's whatever. So, this video is about Will Shield Tiana versus a Swift Tiana. What are the benefits? What are the pros, cons? What do you do? That sort of thing. So I wrote myself a script over here, which I'm going to be reading off. So apologies if I'm constantly like, looking over here. And I forgot something. This is not going to be edited, by the way. I'm just going to do it one take. So, who am I? This is my first point. Who am I? Why should you listen? Why should you care? And why am I making this video? There's a lot of people on Reddit who are asking about Swift Tiana versus Will Shield Tiana. I am a Guardian 2 player. I'm in a Guardian 3 guild, as you can see. Previous week was Conquer 2. Ignore that one. Guardian 2, best rank 85, and this is a recent one. This was with Swift Tiana, which we'll get more into later. But this was with a Swift Tiana build. Ignore the defense rate. I usually put a farming defense. This week I put something on. It's doing alright, yeah. But that G2 week was with a Swift Tiana, which I'll talk about later, but I'm more adept at using a Will Shield Tiana, which again we'll get into more a bit later. So, let's get into the basis of the video. What is Will Shield, and what is Swift Tiana? What does that mean? What are we trying to explain here? Also, I got some Twitch safe music. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope you can hear it. It's kind of soft. I can hear it pretty loud. So, a Will Shield Tiana, the idea behind it is every unit on your team has Will. You have a set of shield runes, and instead of going turn 1 and killing people like that, turn 1 just clearing the board, you rely on turn 2, or sometimes even you wait for things to happen and then you take a turn. So the basis is, again, put Will on everyone, have a set of shield runes, let the enemy do their thing. The shield runes protect you with the Will runes so you don't get debuffed, you don't take damage, and then you subsequently clear the board. It is quite quick, depending on it's dependent on a few things, which again I'll get into later. This is just sort of introduction type stuff. But it is a very powerful offense that if you have Tiana you can use along with other AOs like Lucians and stuff like that. Now, second version, which you can see on the screen now, is a Swift Tiana. Apologies, gonna take some water. Again, one take. Haha. Spread it, bro. So, Swift Tiana. This relies on you getting turn 1, boosting your gauge up with Tiana, armor breaking with your Galleon, and then clearing the board, turn 1, quick, kill everything. Now, both have their pros and cons, and you will quickly see that one build complements the other. So, both have pros and cons, and they're kind of flipped. So let's go into the Will Shield first. I'm more proficient at this type. I've got G1 30 times or something. I've got some G1 crazy amount of times with this, exclusively this comp. Again, more on that later. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So Will Shield pros, easier to rune. Considering that you're not relying on turn 1, your speed doesn't need to be excessive. So because of that, it makes it easier to rune. Let me show you an example. So here's a Leo, okay? This is not how you want your Will Shield speed to be, by the way. It's just an example. As you can see, 30k HP, 7900 attack, over 1000 defense, 80 crit rate, 160 almost crit damage, and almost 60 resistance, okay? Now, compare this to this. Because of that 90 extra speed, I lose about 10,000, well, about 8,000 HP, isn't it? 10,000, 8,000? Yeah, about 8,000 HP. About 8,000 HP, some resistance and that sort of thing. So this is kind of like the difference between, this is a Will Shield type 1, more stats. This is a Swift Tiana. I'm trying to show an example here. So basically what I'm trying to say with this easier to rune comment is, because you're not putting a lot of stock into speed, as in you're not putting a lot of your substats into speed, you're not really trying to get super quick runes that quick, what you end up doing is you can push a lot more damage into your units, which makes it so that you can kill things quicker and more consistently. And this comes on to my second point. Speed tuning is practically non-existent. Now, it's not completely non-existent. You do need to speed tune. But what I mean by that is you're not trying to hit certain speed breakpoints to make your team work. Now, if you don't know what that means, Tiana boosts the attack bar up by 30%. Correct? Correct. So what this means is you want your units to be able to go once that gauge boost goes off, or one after the other. So you want Tiana to gauge boost, and then Galleon Unit 2 damage dealers to go immediately after. Like, you don't want any gaps, you don't want any speed differences or anything like that. With Will Shield, since you're picking a speed rating that isn't, 300 speed Tiana or something like that, it means you can lower your speed requirements and boost up other stats. So HP, defense, more attack, more crit rate, more crit damage, that kind of thing. Whereas for a Swift Tiana, you need to hit speed breakpoints. You have to. If you don't, your team's not going to work. Now, point 3, safer to run. Now, because of the Will and the Shield, the safety of a Will Shield Tiana is far higher. So say, for example, you bring it into something like this. Let me have a look here. This is, again, one take. This is just a random list. I didn't look at anything. Say you brought your Will Shield Tiana team into... Let me find something here. Something like this. Perfect example. Now, Katarina's likely not go. Let's pretend the Katarina's not there. Let's say this comp is this, but without Katarina. So it's like a... I don't know. God knows. Pick any wind unit that's not Katarina. With your Will Shield Tiana, they will shield up. Then their nukers go. Now, when their nukers go, the first thing that's going to happen is Molong will Reckless Assault the Zyros. With the Will and Shield runes, if he procs, he's not going to get Arm Break, he's not going to get Stun, plus it reduces the damage of the Reckless Assault. That is essential. Because when there's fire units in this... Say the Katarina is like a Rakan. Once that Reckless Assault goes off, because he's at that 30% break point, there is a chance that the Rakan turns on him. So, what I mean by safer to run... They've optimized my storage. Thank you, Microsoft. What I mean by safer to run is that Reckless Assault hits. It doesn't matter if he procs or not. He's not going to strip stun you or armor break you. It's just unlikely to happen nowadays. But even if he does, if he strip stuns you, you have Tiana to remove that. Also, because the shield is absorbing some of that hit, you're unlikely to get another unit attack your Zyros and kill your Zyros. The same can be said for any of these units. Say I had a Pungbake. They all go, the Raki goes. Bang, bang. Pungbake absorbs most, if not the entire hit with the shield runes. Doesn't get arm broken either. So that makes it insanely safe to run, because you're really not going to be getting sort of killed turn 1, really. Now there is times you will, but we'll get into that in the cons section. Next point, more diverse rune sets. So what this means is, all you need is one shield, or 2, alternatively, preferably more than 2, but as many as you can get. And the rest of the units just need will. So you can put whatever you want on the rest of your units. Say you run what I run. Zyros, Tiana, Galleon, Eludia, right? Your Tiana can be double will shield. Shield, double shield will. Tired, I'm so sorry. Your Zyros can be will whatever. Will blade focus. Will double fight. He could be swift will. Rage will. Fatal will. It doesn't matter. The set makes no difference. As long as you can get that tuning perfect, the set means nothing. It's just about stats. Again, going back to the other points. Easy to rune. Speed tuning non-existent. So, your diversity in your rune sets helps to make this easier on you. Water. So, say then the Galleon. Violent will. Violent double, will double fight. Will double shield. More protection. Any set you want to run, you can run as long as you have the will and the shield. On will on everyone, shield on one person. So it gives you more diverse rune sets. You can basically just put your best nuke. If your best nuker runes are guard runes, fucking put 2 guard sets and a will. There you go. Simple, right? Now, another thing is it's based on you. Now, what I mean by that is, again, because of all these other points, whatever set you want to use is up to you. Whatever units you want to use is up to you. So, if you want to use Zyros on double guard will, all the power to you. Just build it so your Tiana goes. I'll go team compositions later, which I'll talk about that sort of thing. But you can pretty much use whatever units you have as long as you have Tiana and Galleon. Now, it doesn't have to be Tiana. This is what I put by based on you. If you have a disruptive stripper, now what I mean by disruptive stripper is a stripper that has a added effect. Think Triton, think Chiwu, think Tiana. Those 3. Chiwu reduce attack bar, Triton reduce attack bar, Tiana increase attack bar. They're disruptive. They, mess with things. If you have a disruptive stripper, you can use them instead of Tiana. So you get your Chiwu strip, reduce attack bar, Galleon goes, armor break, clean the board. So it doesn't have to be a Tiana. The second section has to be a Tiana because of Swift Tiana. I mean, it's kind of the point. But this is just more showing that it's based on what you have. Now, cons. The cons of this, there's a few. I didn't write one, but I'll remember it, and I'll write it down now. I wrote it down. So, first con, can be easily brute forced by rune quality. So if your opponent has very high rune quality, and they get turn 1, obviously they're going to do damage. Now, there is a chance you just die. There is always that chance with this comp. There's always, oh, Molong went Reckless Assault into Dragon's Dance, into Violent Proc. Again, default. Osiris is on 1 hit. There's a Perna there. Perna kill. Perna proc. So, you gotta remember that there is a very high chance you get fucked because your opponent has way higher root quality than you. Now, depending on how fast your Tiana is, which we'll get onto later, you can sort of stop that or delay that or deter that a little bit. But if you are very highly outroot, if you're a fighter 3 and you somehow get lucky enough to get into Guardian with this comp and then you just get shit on, you know why. Because it can be brute forced by rune quality. Now, number 2. It is susceptible to RNG fucking. I actually wrote that. So let's look at another defense. If I can't find one, I'll just refresh real quick. Give me a moment here. Just give me a moment. I'm sorry. This was not planned. I'm just trying to find something. I'm trying to find one that would fuck me if I was using this comp. Here's one. Okay. So this is one of the things that could fuck you. Okay. Bastet, Double Fire, and Lucian. Now, you're going to assume that the Lucian's not speed tuned, okay? So you're assuming you're going to cut because you're confident. You're dapper. Juno strip, stun Tiana, strip everyone else. You're fucked. Even without the rest of the units there, if Juno gets the perfect strip off, you lose. If there is an Orion, so say they go like Speed Leader Orion. If the Orion stuns one of your units or arm breaks one of your units, like say he removes will rune. This happened to me so many times. Removes the will runes on one of your damage dealers. So strip, armor break, they die. That'll fuck you because your units, even though you're packing more damage in, as I said before, is easier to rune. Even though you're packing more damage, it's not going to be enough with one unit to outright just clear the board, unless you have like a Lucian or something. But that's really, you shouldn't be really using this with Lucian. So be very careful. Yeah, this goes to the next point. It requires some skill. Now, what I mean by that is it requires skill in the sense that you need to know what is likely to happen if you hit someone and how to deal with that. Need water. So, in this one, Bastet goes, Juno strips. If she stuns my Tiana, I lose. I know that for sure. If I have max resistance Tiana, the chances are she doesn't. Oki, if he stuns, I don't lose. If he strips with his second skill and resets, I lose. So, you need to understand those sort of things. And that just comes with experience and watching guides, which I have some guides on my channel. So, by skill I mean you have to know what you're doing. Like it really is an experience game with Will Shield, because sometimes you'll hit someone and then something you didn't think would happen, and then you have to plan for that later on down the track. And again, next point, these all link together because I'm just so good at creating guides. They all are cohesive and not at all scuffed. Can be cut if you don't plan. If you don't plan your speed tuning properly, and then, so say for example, your Tiana goes, your Galleon goes, and then your Zyros goes, like as shown here. If my Zyros does too much damage to, say, a Praha, and the Praha doesn't get reset, but she survives, Nemesis attack bar increase, and then heals, that's going to be a cuckening. So, if you don't plan ahead for certain things, like if you don't rune the certain ways, which I'll get onto later, if you don't rune certain ways, you can fuck yourself. I got defeated. I hate my life. I can put a bullet in my head. The last and final point is Will Shield is out of meta right now. This is kind of subjective. I tried to get as many facts as I could. This is kind of a subjective point, but right now the meta is very speed heavy. So speed leader plus attack bar booster plus stripper plus something. Attack bar booster plus stripper, you don't bring Will Shield into it, you'll lose. Attack bar booster plus some sort of like big damage dealer that can one-shot you, like a Molong, and another big damage dealer, you can bring it in, but it's risky. But the most meta comps are speed leader, attack bar booster, and stripper. That's the most meta thing, and you do not bring Will Shield in that, you'll get fucked up. So the meta isn't favorable for this comp right now. However, you can use it if you take note of the other things. If you know, it's based on you, so you have to know what you're doing, and it requires some skill. So if you take those into account and learn how to hit certain defenses, you can still use this comp. It's not completely not usable, but it's very hard, and it'll take a lot of time to know what to do with it. So with them, because the meta's not favorable right now, so I guarantee I'll find some speed leader bullshit right now if it loads. Like this. This is so meta in high arena, yeah. Not this exactly, maybe not the Galleon Zyros, but something else. But this will fuck you badly. Speed leader plus stripper plus something, two somethings, you'd fucking know. You can gamble with a stripper, but yeah, it depends on your speed tuning. But I'll get into that later. But it is Tiana, so you would not hit this with a Will Shield. You just wouldn't do it. But something like a speed leader plus a stripper, depending on if it's a disruptive stripper. Again, remember I said disruptive strippers, Chiwu, Triton, Tiana, disruptive strippers. If they're in the team with a speed leader and they outspeed you, because obviously running a slow comp, if they outspeed you, they're gonna disrupt you and you're gonna fuck you. So you wouldn't bring it into that either. Sorry I got a bit randomly at the end, but we'll get on to the next point. So, Swift. The pros of Swift. It almost removes the RNG factor. Almost. There is still RNG in the fact that you have a Galleon in your comp, because of team composition, we'll try to talk about later, but it does remove the RNG by a lot, because you're not really relying on the enemy to get turn 1, so you don't have to like roll the dice to see what they do. It's just sort of like, you get turn 1, you control the battle. Number 2, requires less skill. You can pretty much bring Swift Tiana into like anything, usually, if you know like sort of what you're doing. And you don't have to really think a lot. If you just kind of have a look, like, oh, a speed leader plus attack bar boost that's faster than me. Skip. Another one. Skip. Oh, look, this one has got a speed leader. I'll take that. Whereas with Will Shield, you have to be like, okay, if I bring this in and I get outsped, which I will, and if I get stripped, which I will, can I survive the turn 1? Yes, no, or it's a dice roll. So it kind of like doesn't require as much skill, because you don't really need to think those sort of things through. Now, you still need to think things through, but just not that detailed. You don't really need to go into like exceptional detail. One moment. I want to edit this video, but seriously, I'm dead inside. Okay, point 3. As like the opposite of the Will Shield, you can brute force by rune quality, as in you yourself. So if you are just completely out runing your opponent, you can just bring it in without even thinking. Just doesn't matter. You just bring it in, kill, kill, kill. I know I'm faster. Kill, kill, kill. So if you know for a fact your rune quality is better, you just brute force it. You don't need to think that hard. You can just kind of win. Perfect example again is the opposite. If you're a Guardian player, climbing, you're not really going to care about what you're hitting with this comp, with the Swift Tiana. You're just going to hit whatever and then climb. That's pretty much it. And the fourth one is far harder to cut. This may confuse you, because you'll think, but Knight, isn't it harder to speed tune? It is. However, it's harder to cut because you're going to have to get exact speed amounts. Like, exact. Also, if you're Swift, it's harder for a Nemesis healer to cut you, because even if you do a lot of damage and don't reset with a Zyros, for example, like the last example, you'll be so ahead in attack bar tick and attack bar increase, you just take a turn anyway. So say for example, you go Zyros, Tiana, Galleon, damage dealer into, say, a Praha, Tiana, no, Praha, Triana, Rakan, Ritesh, right? You boost with a Tiana, armor break, Zyros does his thing. You do like 25k damage. Nemesis Praha, doesn't matter. She's unlikely to cut you. It's very, very hard for her to cut you, to be honest, because of how quick you'll be. But the cons are, in my opinion, more difficult to overcome. So, it is extremely hard to rune this comp. Tiana doesn't provide any speed buff or anything like that, like a Bernard. You're not using 2 attack bar boosters. So, if you have a 300 speed Tiana and the max speed you can get on a Zyros is 200, you're shit out of luck. You should not be running this. So, that ties into the second comment. It's based on you. So, depending on your rune quality, depending on your unit composition, it'll very, very strongly dictate how, like, what you're using. So, for example, most of the population on the entire server, on every server, wouldn't run Eludia in a Swift comp like this. Reason being, bad base stats, hard to rune a speedy. Doesn't awaken into crit rate, hard to rune with high crit rate. So, if you're trying to use like her, you'd have to have very high rune quality, and it's based on you, based on your individual situation. So if you've got a really, really, really good bunch of Swift sets and you have got good damage dealer sets, you're fucked. And the last point of the cons is this comp can be countered. Unlike the Will Shield, where the counters are more obvious, like just a strip bar and an attack bar booster fucking you. With this, like, specific units can fuck you. For example, Tian Lang destroys this comp. Not so much Will Shield because tuning. Armduat destroys this comp. There's just some units you'll have to eventually learn, like, I cannot bring this comp into these units because they'll destroy me. Now that's the same for a lot of teams, but more so because you leave yourself completely open with this comp. It is very powerful, but you're very, very, very vulnerable, which is probably another point I should have put on. It is not as safe because you're very vulnerable. On the off chance that you do get cut, you're fucking about to get destroyed. Like, you should be like that meme. Oh no. Oh no. Uh-oh, that one. Because again, the Tiana removes all your buffs, so you're very open. And I should have also said, and when I said it can be extremely hard to rune, that means that the point of that comment was you need specific rune sets. It's very hard to run a 300 speed Tiana with like a Rage Zyros. You can do it, but it's very hard to do because again, it's extremely hard to rune. So you might have to go a Swift Zyros. Also, you can't pack as much damage as again with this example, the 2 Dragon Knights. That 80 speed cost me around 8,000 HP, right? So because of that fact, you might not sometimes pack the damage to actually kill everything. So that's another thing you need to be aware of. Now, let's go on to some team compositions. Tiana Galleon, guaranteed. Unless you want to run, I don't know why, but maybe a Lucian. I don't know why you would do that, but like, yeah, you can run a Bastet. But Tiana Galleon's pretty much required for this comp. In both Swift and Will Shield. Now for Will Shield, I'm going. What am I doing by team compositions? I'm going to go team compositions and runes. So for Will Shield, here's the idea of what you should be doing. You take a speed amount that you can reliably get. So say you put a Will Shield Tiana, you get it to 200, so plus 104, exactly, even. You have to tune every unit subsequently within 1 speed of her. So if your comp say is Samath, Tiana, Galleon, Zyros, you need to have your Tiana 1 speed less, Galleon 1 speed less, Zyros 1 speed less, Samath, or whichever one you want to put first. This is to prevent fuck-ups, to create consistency, and it makes it so you can kill shit very, very smoothly. Because when you're on rush hour, it's all about quick kill. Quick. You can't be wasting time. So rune sets for them would probably be, again, Will Shield Tiana, even double shield Will. But the other rune sets is whatever you want. It's just all you need to do is pack as much damage as you can and have that 1 speed. Remember, 1 speed. For this comp, 1 speed is all the gap you have to have. You can even put no speed and have the exact same speed rating if you know for sure that one will go over the other and won't cut. There's speed tuning mechanics out there. I'm not going to go through that. Just, if you need no speed tuning, just look up a guide. Not a guide, a calculator. So if you can get a 250 speed Will Shield Tiana, and then if your nuker, your Galleon is 249, and then your nuke is a 248 apiece, fantastic, do that. But it'll be based on how fast you can get your Will Shield Tiana. She doesn't have to be shield as well. You can go Will double fight, Galleon Will double fight, and you can go your Zyros Will double fight, and then your last unit can have shield runes. It's all up to you, as long as that you get that 1 speed. That 1 speed is the most key part, and pack as much damage as you can. Now, to prevent Nemesis healers, your first nuker should do around 15k-ish, and your second nuker should do about 30k-ish, 30 plus if you can. The only change to this would be if you're using a disruptive damage dealer or with utility. So Zyros, you can pack like damage out the arse on him. Why? He resets, right? He resets, so you're not going to get fucked up. Varad, speed, crit damage, defense, Varad. If he goes, these are before your second nuke, by the way. So your first nuke has to be some sort of utility if you want to pack a lot of damage. Varad, reset attack bar. You're not worried about how much damage he's doing. And then your second nuke goes, kills everything. Your second nuke needs to pack that fudge. Like, you need to push their shit in. So you need to really be like hitting some high breakpoints on damage. I'm not going to talk about damage like calculations and shit here, but just know that first nuker either needs to do low damage or medium to high damage with good utility, and your second nuker just needs to do damage, just as much damage as you can possibly muster into one unit. Both obviously AoE. Don't be bringing single target shit into this. This is not what this is about. Now, Swift. This is where it gets very, very, very interesting. Swift Tiana needs to be perfectly speed tuned. So you take your faster Swift set, you put it on your Tiana, then you speed tune down. So your Galleon needs to be perfect. Like, you don't want to have him on the border of like speed tuning. Like, you don't want to have him like, oh, he'll go after your Tiana, but he's like on the edge, like the lower end. You want him to be on the higher end, faster rather than slower. So say you have a 100 speed Tiana, and for example, let's say that 70 speed is the lowest amount you can get before you get cut. So if you have less speed, you'll get cut. If you have more speed, you'll be fine. You want him on like 99 if you can get him there. But it'll depend on your rune quality and what you have. I'll show you mine from here. I use the speed tuning tool. So I have my plus 188 speed Tiana. Not the fastest, but she does her job. I have my Galleon, which I just accidentally clicked off. 121 Swift Galleon, because I don't have a choice. If I did have a choice, I would not go Swift. I would go something else, like I'd go Swift Will Double Fight or something like that. So I actually didn't have a choice in the matter. I had to go Swift. Again, Zyros. I did not have a choice. I don't have the rune quality to be running a Rage Zyros or something like that. I don't even have the will offset. And as you can see, with that stat sacrifice I was talking about, my Zyros' attack is very low. His speed, crit rate, crit damage, and accuracy are very high, though. So you have to like weigh those options. If you don't have very good damage dealing runes, this is probably not a good comp for you either. But it's probably better for you to go Shield Will, because you can pack more damage in, then you don't have to like do the work. Now Ludia, she's packing the damage. Very hard to get to this point. I would not recommend Ludia. She's kind of bad. She's really fucking bad. But you get the idea. Your last nuker needs to be doing a fucking lot of damage. A lot of damage. Because if you're running a non-utility damage dealer, like your first damage dealer is just damage, if they do too much, again, they're going to boost the attack bar up, you get cut, and then you die. So my Zyros doesn't do much damage, but he does reset, so that prevents that sort of fucking of me, if you will. My second nuke is just damage. Now again, you could use a utility nuker, like you could use Varad, you could use Zyros, like I do. And then your second nuker could be a utility as well, and then you would just use 2 utility damage dealers. However, that would slow you down quite a bit. It would work, but it would slow down how fast you can clear people. And I will reiterate this point. Rush Hour is about how fast you can kill people, and with this comp I kill people quickly and reliably. So, back to the facts. Will Shield Tiana, doesn't matter what you run. As long as you have Will and Shield set, you're good to go. Swift Tiana, it really depends. I have to run Swift. You might have the Rage runes to run, maybe. But really it will depend on what runes you have and how much damage you can pack into your units. Now, I saw a question on Reddit. Is it worth losing the damage on a Will Shield Tiana for a Swift Tiana? Yes, if you can kill them. It's all about which one gives you the quickest clear and the most reliable clear, which is, for me, is this. I should have also said that Swift, the pros of Swift are, I keep forgetting, I'm so out of it today. It's meta, because you can outspeed people. Now, let's do some example games. If you want to look at Will Shield, down in the description, click the description right now, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. I will put a lot of links to actual G1 rushes I've done, with primarily Will Shield Tiana being my AO. Primarily. I say primarily because I might have a few little Lucian shit scattered in here, but it's unlikely. It'll probably be all Will Shield. Now, let's give some examples of Swift. I will show you by hand. So, this one, I can hit it easily. Not hard at all. There's nothing that will fuck me. There's no speed leader plus attack bar booster. That's what you're scared of. So I don't really care. Don't even need a speed leader. As you can see, no cut. Increase cool time. No cut again. Perfectly speed tuned. Everything dies. And that's as quick as it is. That is as quick as a Swift Tiana will go. That's about the best you can get. The other option is just one-shot them, but she resisted it, so yeah. And I'll keep giving you examples until I find one I can't actually hit. Again, I don't care. Speed leader, I don't care. There's no gauge booster plus speed leader. Once those two are together, then I have a problem. Turn 1, again, I don't care. I don't care what you have. Miss an armor break, doesn't matter. Salvation Song, procced, so she obviously gets a turn, but perfect speed tuning. No one cut me. Except her because of her passive. It's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I got G2 with this comp primarily. Again, I say primarily because I scattered in some loose. Yeah. So here's where the trouble arises. Speed leader plus Tiana. You know what? I don't really care. I have a speed leader of my own. Let me remove. Hang on, wait. Let me remove this one. Where is the Kelly? It's this one, right? The second one. Yes, so you match speed leader with speed leader. We'll see what he has, Swift Tiana or not. It's Swift, but it's got will runes, so I outspeed it. Also, with the will rune argument, it's up to you. Personally, I don't really care about will runes that much. And I got cut. So, again, you got to get your speed tuning right. My Samath actually isn't fast enough. The makeup is a surprise to you. But yes, he's not fast enough yet. There you go. Again, they double resisted, but this will not be a comp I hit usually, but for demonstration purposes, I would definitely hit this. So you saw there, the reset really helped, right? Because again, I have that disruptive damage dealer. I have that utility damage dealer. So with Will Shield, you wouldn't hit this, but I'm gonna hit it because I got a Swift Tiana. I'm gonna outspeed this Bastet because I'm the fucking best player on earth. Pranked. I'm gonna clear these wings real quick. Again, no cuts because, yeah. Boop. No cut. Everything dies. And you just keep doing this until you hit rank 1. If you can. So the only thing you're worried about with Swift Tiana is speed leader plus I got outsped there. Doesn't matter though. They're not going to do anything useful. You're only worried about speed leader plus disruptive stripper. Juno and stuff, not that worrying, but like Chiwu, Triton, or Tiana, those units are gonna fuck you if they outspeed you. So again, the problem, it's extremely hard to rune and it's based on your rune quality. So let's see if this Praha's Nemesis. Again, not worried about turn 1. So once I hit this Praha, if she has an attack bar boost, she's still not going to cut me. See how I didn't do enough damage? I did enough damage to Harmonia though, but you know, that's expected. That is auto because I can. They've got 2 wings left, and we'll clean this up, and then we'll go into conclusions. No speed leader plus disruptive stripper. I'm a dead that item. I'm a dead these motherfuckers. That could be your paradise. I'm fucking losing my mind, dude. Nemesis, I don't care. Your reset. Again, with that disruptive unit there. That unit with utility that does shit. Other than just pure damage. So yeah. So, in conclusion, to summarize, the argument between Will Shield Tiana and Swift Tiana is primarily based on one thing. How good are your runes? If you can run a Swift one, run it. If you can run a Will Shield one, run it. And that's about it. So, thank you for watching. Subscribe, don't subscribe, leave a like or dislike, depending on what you felt about this video. Leave a comment telling me to jump off the Balti Bridge in Australia, throwback. And yeah, I think that's about it. I want to upload this and go to bed. So I'll catch you guys in hell, I guess.